But let's talk about the other massive news story for the week on this first episode of the Quarter Report. The massive news story of the week, we all thought that the budget that the ANC proposed and pushed with this VAT increase, first time attempt 2% VAT increase, was that right the first time? It was 2%.
Originally
VAT.
2, yeah.
And now 0.5 in year one, and then another 0.5 in year two, for a total of 1% VAT increase by the end of 2026, start of 2027. We thought that was dead. We thought no political party would touch this with a barge pole. It was such a huge win for the DA. It was such a huge kind of like messaging victory for MK and the EFF and all these other parties that there would never be a VAT increase in this country. And so we were waiting and watching to see whether or not the finance minister and the ANC would continue to push this VAT increase, whether or not they would even bother, because it seemed like they had no roadmap. Because the ANC's not got a majority in our parliament anymore. They need to get over 50% plus one. They're only around 40% when you count up the MPs of the 400 MPs. Okay, so this is what you need to know. Before a budget can be voted on by the MPs in the National Assembly on the floor, it needs to go through a couple of standing committees. And those standing committees need to vote on and approve certain parts of the budget before it can get to the voting by the National Assembly. And one of those standing committees deals with something called the fiscal framework of the budget. Now, in that committee, the ANC doesn't have a majority on its own, once again, to get the fiscal framework through. But then on Tuesday, ActionSA, which is on that committee, you know Herman Mashaba's party, the people who said that they would never under any circumstances work with the ANC no matter what. That was a key campaign promise of theirs. And now they work with the ANC in Tshwane, which is going well for their mayor, by the way. Moya doing really well. But other kind of arrangements, they've been willing to work with the ANC too. So suddenly, I need to remind you never to trust a politician, even if he used to sell hair. Doesn't he still sell hair? Herman Mashaba, black like me?
I'm pretty sure he must be on the board still.
Yeah. It's amazing that he's bald. Considering, like, just crack one of them on, bro. You could do such good business. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I can see a good Brazilian wig on that guy. And it would sell. It would push you can't be bald and sell wigs. Or maybe you can be, but then you have to wear them. Look, I'm not a businessman.
Maybe he has an obsession with hair because he doesn't have any.
Oh, that's deep. That's so deep. I don't think that's true. But,
I mean, probably not.
Okay, anyway. So ActionSA brought forward a proposal to this standing committee that deals with the fiscal framework, saying that they proposed that the committee accept the fiscal framework of the budget, but then make recommendations that the financiers in government have 30 days to find alternate ways to raise money for the budget besides a VAT increase. Got it? Got it. And then the ANC supported that, which should have caused alarm bells in ActionSA, because if the ANC is supporting it, then you may be giving them what they want. But apparently it didn't. So the ANC supported it. That motion, that proposal was passed. It's amazing how now South Africa has to learn about this stuff. This is the first year in modern democratic history that the ANC doesn't have a majority. So always the budget would just cruise through, even in the face of opposition. But now we need to know about standing committees and fiscal frameworks. Anyway, it's good. This is literally democracy. This is literally learning about our country. This is literally getting ourselves together to engage better as citizens and hold our politicians to account. Proposal was approved. It demanded recommendations. Then it went to a vote by the MPs. But before it went to the vote, which was on Wednesday, on Tuesday night, everybody freaked out. Here's why. ActionSA comes out and they say, we are the champions of South Africa. We have thwarted the VAT. There will never be a VAT increase. And everybody else said, no, you absolute wombats. You have literally allowed for the VAT increase because, as everybody pointed out, and everybody includes the DA and the EFF, and when they agree, you know you're in serious cuck, and the MK party, and all of these tax experts, and all of these analysts. Okay, so in particular, Benjamin Cronin, who's like a top level tax law specialist, pointed out in the standing committee to approve the fiscal framework, you can only approve a proposal or amend it, right? And if you approve it, which is what ActionSA did, then it goes to the vote. And the recommendations that ActionSA put in that they thought were going to thwart VAT, that's a good tongue twister, are non-binding, meaning that the ANC can receive these recommendations, go shop thanks, not even reading that, not even opening, not even downloading the PDF, not even downloading Adobe Acrobat Reader to read the PDF report. and institute that VAT increase of 0.5% on the 1st of May. And ActionSA can do nothing about it. Nothing at all. Because the recommendations are non-binding. They had to accept or they had to amend. And their proposal accepted it with support from the ANC and went through. And I think when ActionSA really shat themselves, it's when we all shat ourselves yesterday. When I, and I'm sure everybody else who's with Vodacom, got a text saying, since VAT is being increased on the 1st of May, and Discovery said the same thing. They're all saying VAT's going up on the 1st of May. It is going to go up on the 1st of May unless ActionSA finds some way to basically beg and plead Ramaphosa to not increase it for the 1st of May. But even he can't really do that. They have to push through a different kind of act or bill into an act to stop this from happening. It just is happening now. And you could see ActionSA realizing in real time how badly they'd screwed up. Because the morning after, which was Wednesday morning, no posts until actually I tweeted about them not posting.
Yeah.
And then they posted 7 minutes later. I'm not saying it was me, but their posts started and ramped up after that. And then one of ActionSA's leaders, Athol Trollip, came out and said, if the ANC screws us on this, he basically said, if they go through with VAT, there are going to have to be consequences. They have realized that they have monumentally screwed up.
Yeah, I mean, the operative word that I keep seeing in all the news reports about it is the fact that the ANC basically just needs to entertain discussions. And I think entertain is a great word there, because really they're just going to take them for a joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for not using the word starting with P there.
I tried very hard.
See on your face. Yeah. Take them fore is only one word in South Africa.
That's my bad.
And it's absolutely not joke. Okay. So then this ActionSA realized how badly they'd screwed up, but the proposal had already been accepted. So then it went to the National Assembly, and people were wondering, because the DA, MK, and EFF all said they weren't going to vote for this proposal. But people were counting the number of MPs. And people were generally talking about the ANC needing to get 201. But in the end, there were so many MP absentees, people who just not bothered to rock up for work. Ironically, actually, the main group of people who didn't rock up were the MK party, because they have screwed around so royally with putting MPs in place and then trying to cycle them out for other MPs later after those initial MPs have been sworn in. And there are rules about how quickly you can put in a new MP, cycle them in for another one that MK has been trying to break but failing to break. And so MK had a lot of absentees. So even as their official position was anti, had a lot of absentees. And MK, again, we're trying to take them seriously as a political party, but they were the only political party there that didn't have their leader on the floor.
I didn't know that.
They're the head of their caucus, their person in charge of their delegation of MPs did not bother to rock up.
Yeah, that's not great.
How do you take them seriously? How do you take a party seriously if they're not even willing to do that on something as important as the budget?
I will say, though, that I think it was only the MK and the EFF that came up with alternative budgets, no?
I assume that the DA did. They just haven't told us yet because they were in negotiations. Right. We just don't know about the others.
We definitely know about the MK and the EFF ones in terms of wanting to do a wealth tax and some of the other things to offset the VAT and all that kind of corporate taxes and things as well.
And that annoys me so much because I think wealth tax is a great idea. It's such an obviously good idea.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can fight me in the comments of that. I will talk about that next week. So, long and the short of it is the budget passed. And now, barring some kind of extraordinary event that we actually can't imagine, maybe the ANC will be very kind to ActionSA and dig them out of trouble. But what looks like far more likely to be happening, based on all the signaling from the ANC, is that this VAT budget is going to go through. And I will remind you that I do think that this VAT budget is insane because it instantly makes the ANC so unpopular. It is such an unpopular thing. And that's why ActionSA is in so much trouble now, because they will be absolutely lampooned as the people who let the VAT budget go through. And if they hadn't done that, we would have thwarted the VAT increased budget. And for a party of their size, not a big party, that could hammer them because it's so clear that they made a mistake. And that level of incompetence that then allows for, and I'll remind you, VAT affects everybody, but it's particularly a punishing tax on the poor. The poor people of any place in the world suffer the worst from VAT increases. So do you think ActionSA can even come back from that? The interesting thing with ActionSA is that Moya, their mayor in Tshwane, is doing so well.
Yeah.
Like she's really, really impressing the whole country. I don't I don't think it's beyond the bounds of possibility that she just gets poached, though, and offered a big position in another party. Because this level of up, and again, I don't usually swear on tape, but this is just a up, and there are not other words around this. I don't know how you come back from this as a party that's small when that is the lodestone top headline about your party.
Have we seen Herman Mashaba say anything specifically about it?
He initially came out fighting very hard and saying that the DA is lying.
Right.
That the DA is wrong and there will be no VAT increase. But a number of people have now online asked him, yes or no, will there be a VAT increase? And he's just not responded.
Fair.
He just said other things about the Democratic Alliance.
Yeah, it's a bit of a death knell, hey?
It could be, man. They're not a big enough, strong enough party. I don't know. We'll have to see.
It would have been great for them if what they said was true.
Oh, then they would have
been golden.
They would have massively popped off. Okay, I mean, the other thing I will say is that the next national election is in a long time.
Yeah,
so there might be time for the electorate for them to reposition and like switch the electorate's attention somewhere else. But it really is I just can't believe it. And the sad thing, of course, is people in government make mistakes all the time. But this level of mistake is going to cause inflation in this country. It's going to cause the value of the rand to drop. It's going to cause our spending power to go down. And the less wealthy you are, the worse it's going to hammer you. Because the wealthier you are, the more easily you can avoid VAT.
I just can't believe they didn't realize that it was pretty much, by all accounts so far, unbinding. Yeah, that agreement.
And everyone else...
Or not legally binding, I suppose.
Everyone else knew.
Yeah.
That was the crazy part. Is instantly everyone else was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But by then it was too late. Ironically, though, ActionSA, who hates the DA so much, and it's mutual, ActionSA is probably now praying that the DA wins the court battle to declare that fiscal framework standing committee procedure unconstitutional. Because it seems now that there's some evidence that fiscal framework standing committee did not follow the letter of the law that they had to follow procedurally when you're dealing with something as important as a budget. And so all of that could be declared unconstitutional and then they'd have to do it again.
Saved by the bell.
Saved by the DA, ActionSA. Isn't that crazy? If that happens, if the DA wins that court battle. But ironically, Herman, while bashing the DA in public, is probably praying that their lawyers win in the court. This country. I didn't even remember to say it at the beginning of the show, but South Africa is a movie. Welcome to the watch party. South Africa is a movie at the moment.
I'll get some popcorn for the next recording.
Man, it is really, truly beyond belief. So, what a wild week. So much to talk about on this first episode of the Quarter Report. Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you're on YouTube side, a like and a subscribe would always be generous. We also really want to know what you think of these stories in the comments. And if you're listening to the Quarter Report on podcast, you already know this probably, but the WhatsApp number, and YouTubers, viewers, you can also use the WhatsApp line, is 0607613436. And please do let us know what you thought of this format. This is our first time doing this form of the show, and it's what we're going to be doing from now on, but it is going to evolve, change in different directions. And if you've got good suggestions, we'd love to incorporate them into the show. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Good luck with this weekend. Chat next week.